friends. Welcome to Flosstube and Variety Show number 177. Today is Friday, November 21st, 2025, and I'm Emily Williams in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Thank you so much for joining me. It's cloudy, as you see, so the light is possibly not great, but it's pretty warm outside. It's in the mid-60s. We've had some beautiful days. A couple days ago, it was in the 70s, and I had a fire in the afternoon and sat outside reading on the deck. It was really great. But anyway, Flosstube is cross stitch primarily, and Variety shows something else. And let's get going on cross stitch. I worked on Jane Thompson by Scarlet House a little bit. I wanted to work on it more, but I, had a busy week with the retirement party, which went really well. But I did get the leaves that are on the side of the house done, which enabled me to count up the side of the house, and then I started doing the roof area. And that's a pretty big house, actually. It's a very nice house, though. I'm looking forward to working on it more. I just love the border of this also. I'm looking forward to working on that more. Jane Thompson, Scarlet House. This is 36 count Sleeping Bear, which is the called for fabric, and I am using NPI silks, which are the called for colors. So that is great. I mean, I at one point had thought I would finish this year. That is not happening, but this, I'm not going to show you the picture of this because there's enough of it here. You can clearly see what it's supposed to look like. It's not done. I considered staying up way into the night last night and finishing it. I have 550 stitches to go, 554 or something. So it isn't done. There's a lot of individual stitches. Here I go again. Over in this part of the marble in this area, and then of course this last bit of sky and some of the rose bush there. It is remarkable, isn't it? So probably I'll finish this next week, and I will let you know. You might even hear if you open your window. So that is really exciting. This is Bertram Savile Ogle. This is from the All Things Bright and Beautiful red box from Hands Across the Sea. And I finished it. Yesterday, I knew that I could finish this, and I was certain that I could not finish Under the Roof of Blue Ionian Weather. So I went ahead and finished this. Isn't it nice? This is 46 count Latte, and these are 103s, the called for 103s. And it's cute. It's about 6 inches square-ish, pretty close to 6 inches. I'm not sure what I'll do with that. I kind of want to frame it. Let's see if it says 46 count. Oh, 5.5 by 5.25 is what it says. So that's what it is. I do want to frame it. Now, Cindy and I are theoretically going to pull out her table saw and learn how to use it. So maybe we'll make frames. I also put a little time into this, a Quaker pattern book by With My Needle by which is Ellen Chester. Ellen Chester is part of the Queen City Sampler Guild. In fact, she's a founding member of the Queen City Sampler Guild, and she's a lovely person. And so I've been really enjoying this. This is the first panel, and I finished this thing down here, and I put some doodads up here, and I finished this, whoa, right there, that. This is 56 count Albarium by Cedar River Linen and Designs, and I'm using Soie surfine in a blue color, which in the description field you find all the details that I forget to mention. So that is a lot of fun. I'd like to finish that panel. I mean, there are 12 panels. Theoretically, I could do one a year. No, are there 12? Maybe there are only 10. There are only 10. I mean, one a year, one a month, and finish this. That's probably not very realistic. I mean, in truth, because I have a lot of things I like to work on. And of course, Hannah Green, 1826. My goal is to finish this, to put the last stitches in it on March 1st, 2026, which will be 200 years. So what I did this time, I can't remember if last time I had finished putting in all 4 colors of that border, but I have. And I put in the 2 carnations that are there on the bottom, those lower 2, and all the little red things. And I created and filled in that blue flower. You see I have 2 blue flowers above it that need to be filled in. And there are still some little things that need to be filled in. You know, these things need to be added down below, and they get filled in with the dark gold color like this. And I worked some more on the green grass around that first peacock. I did not work super hard on this because I was really working hard to try to finish Under the Roof before this video. So, you know, I didn't accomplish that, but it's all right. It is all right. This will become much higher priority as soon as Under the Roof is done. And the other thing that I will show you is that I succumbed. I wasn't going to do this. Jingle Ball is 2 weekends from now. It's the 5th, 6th, and 7th of December, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And Jingle Ball, if you don't know what it is a virtual retreat, kind of. You buy a ticket for it, and you get access to some exclusive patterns in the Jingle Ball shop. And there's a book also of ornaments. Each of the 13 or 14 designers that are involved in Jingle Ball creates an ornament and puts it in a book. So there's a little book of ornament charts you can buy. And you can take classes. And I was not going to I did Jingle Ball last year, and I found it a little, well, the times that I could get on last year to participate, either in one of the stitching rooms or to watch the stuff happening on the main stage, as they call it, weren't really the ideal times. There weren't as many people in the stitching rooms, and I didn't know anybody. And so one of the things they do is speed dating in the stitching rooms, where I think you have 10 minutes and you talk with one other stitcher and you're paired up. The software automatically does this. And that was fun. I had a chance to talk to a couple people, but it wasn't what I'd hoped it would be from that standpoint. Now I know more people now, and I sort of understand how it works, and my weekend is freer this time around than it was last time. So I think I'll be able to participate better in it. And I also decided that I just could not pass up these pears, Christmas pears by Annie B's Folk Art. They're really pretty. And part of the reason I couldn't pass them up is because I have a piece of fabric that will work. This is, somehow it's showing orange, but it isn't at all. It's a beautiful rosy pink. It is not, oh my goodness, I'm shocked how orange it looks. It's the light in this room. But it's a very good color to go with this pattern. It really is. It's much more the color of this red up here than it is orange. So you just have to take my word for it. So I'm going to do it on this fabric, which I think is 40 count. And I'm going to use DMC 3865, which is a variety of white. And I think that will be nice. And the class is how to finish them, how to make the pairs. So the pattern has the template for a 36 count pair, and since I'm doing a 40 count pair, I will have to adjust that a little bit. And also you're supposed to have velveteen to put on the back of the pairs, which I think velveteen is what is suggested. I don't have any, but I do know where to get some. So I might, Cindy and I may head out and get some. It's interesting here, it seems to be, I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be velveteen. And then you make the leaves. You see there's leaves and stems. You make those out of wool. And I think there may be something on the bottom that you make out of wool. But anyway, I think they're really pretty. So my hope is to stitch at least one of these and then take the class on how to finish it and have one finished pair for Christmas this year. So that's a near-term plan. I will finish Under the Roof before I start that. I mean, I really don't have to finish Under the Roof before I start that because I finished Bertram, but I want to start Oscar, which is a Christmas-themed sampler by a boy that Hands Across the Sea released a couple years ago. And I want to start that soon. So I'll probably start that right after Thanksgiving is my current thinking on that. So, and I'll show that to you sometime soon. So that's all I worked on this week, which I spent a lot of time cross-stitching, but anyway. So what else is going on? What variety show do you have for us today, Emily? So we'll do variety show, and then I'll give you a few little updates. Our book club met last night. We discussed Gaudy Night by Dorothy Sayers, which is it's a long, not a murder mystery, but a mystery. And it is where Harriet Vane and Lord Peter Wimsey sort of sort out their relationship. It's not the first book that they have appeared together in. It's the second book, I believe. I think the next book after this one is called Busman's Honeymoon, so you can have an idea of what sorting out their relationship meant. But yes, so we read that, and then we were discussing what we're reading for book club next year, and we've scheduled several books. And one of them is Cold Sassy Tree by Ella Van Burns. And I'm certain that I've mentioned this book before here, but because we just were talking about it last night, I wanted to mention it. This copy is very falling apart. I mean, it's pretty. But this was a book, I believe Byron gave it to me, or somehow I got it when we were first married. And it takes place, so I'll just read the little blurb here at the top. Cold Sassy, Georgia. Cold Sassy is the name of the town. Georgia had never been a whirlpool of excitement. If the preacher's wife's petticoat showed, the ladies could make the talk last a week. Born on July 5th, 1906, on July 5th, 1906, things took a scandalous turn. And so it goes on. Well, Cold Sassy, Georgia is a fictional town which is in North Georgia, which North Georgia is where my husband's family grew up. And when I read this book, so I'm a Yankee, so all the Southern culture stuff was foreign to me and therefore either ridiculous or puzzling or funny or something. So I wasn't really sure. I wasn't sure whether it would be well received for me to be reading this book and think it was a funny book. I mean, it definitely is a funny book. It was published in 1986, so it wasn't right when we were first married, but it was pretty early. Published in, 1984. We were married in 1982. So I asked him, I said, you should read this book and then tell me if your mother will be offended if I give it to her for Christmas. So Byron read it and said, I think she'll love it. So I gave it to her, and she was so taken with it that she bought many copies and gave it to her friends and family because she agreed with me. It's sort of like this is a picture of her family, Byron's mother's family, and the town, the little community in which they lived. So anyway, this is pretty funny. This is our January book. And while I was looking on the shelf for this, I came across this book by Bailey White. Now, Bailey White lives in Georgia also, I believe. I'm not sure how old she is. I think she may be in her 70s, I'm going to guess. I think she's still alive. But she wrote short stories and sort of vignettes about her mother mainly. Now, this one is not as much about her mother as the other ones. One of the books she wrote was author of Mama Makes Up Her Mind, and that is definitely about her mother. But it's about life in in small town, North Georgia. And she captures the human condition and all of that really well. Very enjoyable. She also regularly appeared on NPR back in the 80s, I would say, and maybe 90s, reading these short stories that she had written. So you might be able to go back into the NPR archives and find her reading her stories, which is great. So these were books that were just on my bookshelf. And when I was on the bookshelf, I was thinking, oh yes, I could talk about Southern humorous fiction, because people might, not everybody, I mean, Southern fiction was a big thing in the, I would say, 90s. Everybody was interested. All over the country, people were interested in Southern fiction. But it's sort of fallen out of the mainstream of what people talk about now. And so you might not be familiar with it, or you might have forgotten some of your favorites from Southern fiction. So I wanted to mention two more authors of Southern fiction. And one of them is Michael Malone. And I definitely have mentioned the book Handling Sin before. I do not have a paper copy anymore. The last time I read it on my Kindle, but I'll put a picture of the cover that I'm going to snatch off of Amazon right here. And do not be confused. It is not a Christian self-help book about how to live a more holy life. It is a novel, and it is very funny, has so many funny scenes. It also has a serious thread running through it, and it has, a redemption story in it. But you will not be sorry to read it if you're in the mood for something funny. When I was pregnant, it was probably written in the probably the late 80s, I'm going to guess, or around 1990. And when I was pregnant, I couldn't sleep at night. I had backache, and so sometimes I would get up in the middle of the night. We lived in a one-story ranch house, and so the master bedroom was here, and the wall, and then there was the bathroom there, and then the wall of the bathroom, which connected to the master bedroom, was the dining room kitchen area. And I would get up in the night and I would go and sit at the dining room table trying to get my back to be more comfortable. And I would read. And when I was reading Handling Sin, I could not laugh out loud. And I think that it was the second time I'd read it. So it was already, the story was familiar to me. So here I am trying to be quiet so that I don't wake up my husband. And I'm laughing out loud at the dining room table. So, oh well. But again, Michael Malone, he wrote a lot of books. He is a Southern writer one point he was living in, I believe, Hillsborough, or that area, and I don't know. I actually have not noticed if he's still alive, but he's written a lot of books, and some of them are pretty funny. They're all very good books, all the ones I've read, and I've read a lot of his books. And then another Southern writer that you may have heard of is Clyde Edgerton. And the book that I've read that he wrote that I think is the funniest is called Rainy, and it has a great opening scene. And there's another book that he read that's pretty famous, well-known, called Walking Across Egypt. And again, if you're interested in some lighthearted, make you smile and laugh fiction, Clyde Edgerton can produce that for you. And then I was watching a video of Mark Goodliff, my Cracking the Cryptic Sudoku channel friend, doing a cryptic crossword, and he mentioned how much he enjoyed Bill Bryson, the American author who's a humorous travel writer. And Bill Bryson is not a Southerner, so he doesn't really fit into this category that I'm talking about, which is Southern fiction that will make you laugh. But he will make you laugh, and he wrote a book called A Walk in the Woods, which is about hiking the Appalachian Trail. And of course, the Appalachian Trail starts in the South, and he starts his journey in the South, and he has some very funny scenes from that. So, and of course, he talks about the characters that he meets along the trail, the guy he travels with. They were somewhat unprepared to hike the Appalachian Trail. And this book was probably written 25 years ago. So if you know somebody who is currently hiking the Appalachian Trail, even the equipment has changed since Bill Bryson's book. But it's very funny. And if you enjoy that type of humor, Bill Bryson has written many other interesting and funny books. I have read a lot of them. One of the ones I particularly like is Neither Here Nor There, which is him touring around Europe. I mean, there are some chapters that are just hilarious in that book. And he wrote some books about living in Britain, living in America, about the English language. He wrote a book about William Shakespeare. He has it's very difficult to recommend humorous books to people because people have a different sense of what's funny. So I'm not saying these are the funniest books in the world and you will think they're funny. I'm saying that I found them funny, and I think that there are some chapters and some sections of them that are among the funniest things that I've ever read. So that's all I'm trying to say. So your mileage may vary, but I'm putting the things I've mentioned in the description field below this video, which I always try to do, both the cross-stitch things and anything I mentioned specifically in the variety show. So I wanted to also give a couple of little updates. One is that the retirement party last Saturday went off beautifully. We truly had a groaning board of food. There was so much food, delicious food. We planned it for the afternoon so that people wouldn't expect to eat a meal, but really they could have eaten a meal, especially if they wanted to major on cookies and cheese and crackers. But it was just fantastic. And the weather was perfect, and we sat outside on the patio of our friends where the party was held. I brought my fire pit, and it was just cool enough that the fire pit was welcome and not so chilly that people were really uncomfortable despite there being a fire. It was really lovely. Very, very nice. And I think Cindy had a good time. Next week, I will not make a video, a Flosstube video, because Friday, the day I would normally make it, we're going to be visiting our son and daughter-in-law. We're going to be with family for Thanksgiving. And hopefully I will have made a bunch of Christmas presents. I really have to prioritize that. I guess I better work on that Sunday afternoon. And, which I'm not going to tell you what they are, because some of the family will be there, watch the video. So there won't be a Flosstube. However, Cindy and I are going to make a galloping horse video, galloping horse quilting. Those of you who have been with this channel since March will remember that we did make a galloping horse video last March of 2025. And Cindy and I watched that again just the other day because we wondered what we had talked about. Well, we talked about the fact that in October of 2024, our quilts had been entered in the state fair and won prizes or whatever. I mean, that's crazy distance between videos. The end of March 2025 until the end of November is 8 months, I think. I think that's right. So that is crazy. Now that Cindy's retired, I think we're going to try to make a galloping horse video every 8 or 10 weeks. It takes longer to have something worthwhile to show when you're talking about quilting. And so I'm not really interested in trying to make a video more often than every couple months. But we are going to make more frequent videos. And Cindy is going great guns on sewing because she's retired. Of course, she's also going to be doing some traveling, so she won't be sewing 100%. And so anyway, it's been a while, but we're going to do one. I think we're going to record it tomorrow is the plan. And then I will edit it and put it up sometime next week. When I used to be doing, when we used to do galloping horse videos a little more regularly, I would not do a Flosstube that week, and I would put up the galloping horse video, I think on Thursday. So it would come up the day before the Flosstube would normally have come up. So I don't know if I'm going to do that this time, though, because Thursday is Thanksgiving Day. It won't really affect how I do it, because in YouTube you can schedule a video to be posted at a future time. But I have not ever done that, and I wouldn't want to mess it up and have something strange happen. So I might just post it on Tuesday or Wednesday. So be on the lookout if you're interested in that. The interesting thing is that Cindy also does cross stitch, so I hope that she'll show us some of what she's been doing. And I have some sewing and quilting to show that I haven't shown that I can talk about, and it'll be sort of us getting back into the swing of doing the videos together. We have a very good time. So even if you're not really interested in the quilting and sewing aspect, you might find it fun to watch a galloping horse video. So that, and also, as it gets toward the holiday season, I don't necessarily always make a video every week, just because there's so many things going on, and either I don't have time to do a lot of cross stitch, or I don't have time to make a video on Friday of a particular week. So now is the time that it might actually benefit you to subscribe to my channel and to click the little notification bell. And that way, when you tune into YouTube, the little notification icon on the upper part of the screen will tell you that you have a notification, and the notification will tell you that I've posted a video. So that is something you might think of doing. Theoretically, it would benefit me if you subscribed. And I say theoretically because I don't really know what YouTube, how it works, first of all. And secondly, the benefit that I get from making the videos is just the chance to make the videos and to share things with you that I have enjoyed or have found interesting or meaningful or whatever. It doesn't really matter because I would make the videos anyway, I'm pretty sure. But if you enjoy the videos, you might not, and these times when my posting might be irregular, it might actually help you if you were subscribed. So that is what I know. That's all I know today. Anything else? Is it really all I know? I think it is. So I won't make a video, a Flosstube and variety show video next week. There will be a galloping horse video, I believe. And I will be back on December 5th with another Flosstube video. And I hope and expect to have Under the Roof of Blue Ionian rather finished by then. If I don't, it's because my hands got cut off or something. Let's hope that doesn't happen. All right, friends, that is everything for today. I hope you have a great weekend. If you're in the United States and celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you have a wonderful time Thursday. We'll be visiting Byron's stepsister and brother-in-law, and there'll be about 35 or so family there, and there's at least 15 who can't come. It's a big family. There are 3 generations. So we're the oldest generation now. So it's us, our children, and their children. I think that's all. I think that's as far as it goes. So 3 generations. Byron's mother and stepfather died in the before 2020, in 2017 and 2018, I believe. So that generation is gone. There is an aunt. Byron's aunt is still alive, and Avery's brother, Byron's step-uncle, there's one brother still alive, I believe. So the generation isn't gone, but in our direct family, those folks are gone, and we're the old folks now. Crazy. Anyway, enough blathering on. Thanks so much for watching. Many blessings to you, friends.